You've done the therapy. You've read all the books. You probably listened to a podcast, and yet you're still feeling stuck. You're wondering, how is it that I continue to manage these emotions? Like the things that you've been taught to manage, they're actually not something to be managed. They're something to fully embrace. They're actually the tool to bring you to the freedom that you're looking for. Today, we're not talking about just more information. You're educated enough. Today, we're talking about transformation that happens when you stop fighting your emotions and start looking at them as the very tool you need for the freedom you've been looking for. They're the key to the breakthrough you've been looking for all along. So if you're ready to stop performing and you're actually ready to start living your full self authentically, then this is a conversation we need to be having. So let's get started. You belong here. There's a quote by Charlotte Bronte that says, "Crying does not indicate that you are weak. Since birth, it's always been a sign that you're alive." So I want you to think about your emotions as like the oil light on your car, like the dashboard. So when the oil light comes on your car, it is an indicator that, hey, there's something going on underneath the hood and you probably need to go take a look, right? Or it's an indicator of like, hey, your oil is running low. Like either way, it's telling you, hey, stop for a second, quit driving, don't drive it into the ground. Like stop for a moment and go take a look. See, what we have to realize that is emotions are like that oil light on your dashboard. They're amoral. They're neither good nor bad. They just are. So like if you're experiencing an extreme emotion of some sort, that's not a bad emotion. Like we've been told for so long that we need to control our emotions and that we need to mitigate them and manage them. We need to manage our emotions. Like you hear all this stuff like, oh, I wear a rubber band. And every time I start feeling anxious, I just snap that rubber band. Or every time I start getting angry, I snap that rubber band. Or we do these things to modify our behaviors when really that's just performance. It's just performance. And it's not going to set us free. It's not going to let us live an authentic life. What we have to realize is that our emotions literally are just an indicator of something else is going on beneath the surface. And it's like that oil light on your dashboard is saying, hey, stop for a second and take a look. There's something going on here. Our emotions beg us to take inventory of our thoughts, our beliefs, our experiences, our well-being. And here's the thing, if we ignore them, or if we continue to just try to manage them and shove them underneath, stuff them down deep, don't ever feel anything, or it's wrong to feel angry about something, or it's wrong to feel sad about something, or even it's wrong to be happy about something. Like if we're constantly shoving them down and not actually experiencing them, the problem is they're just going to come up later. And it leads to deeper emotional turmoil. If I could say that again, it leads to deeper emotional turmoil. I'm just being authentically real here. Sometimes I have problems with words. It leads to unresolved issues. It creates unresolved issues. If we don't pay attention and take inventory of what we're actually feeling and what's lying beneath what we're feeling, it actually creates additional stress because we're not addressing what's really going on. And ultimately, it prevents healing and growth. It leaves us stuck in whatever state that we're in, and we can't seem to break out of it. So to ignore our emotions or to stuff them down or to manage them, it doesn't serve us. And I'm sure you probably can relate to that. How many times have you stuffed your emotions or told yourself not to feel, or that you don't have a right to feel, or that, well, a good mom wouldn't feel that way, or a good wife wouldn't feel that way, or a good Christian wouldn't think this way or feel this way. And so I must manage what I'm thinking and feeling right now because I want to be good. And it doesn't serve you. It never has. And it's only led you to where you are right now in this state of stuck. You can't be real. You can't go forward. You sure as heck don't want to go back. But you can't seem to break out of where you're hitting the ceiling now. So now I want to talk to you about one emotion in particular, pain. Now, within pain, there could be a million different ways you feel. You could feel frustrated. You could feel angry. You could feel sad, depressed, lonely. There's all kinds of different levels of pain. There's all kinds of different emotions that come in pain. But I want to talk to you about pain from a different perspective. See, most of the time, you've been avoiding pain. Like, I don't want to hurt. I don't want to feel this way. So I'm going to perform. And I'm going to be the good wife and mother and Christian that I'm supposed to be and that the world tells me I should be. And so anything that matters to me, I'm just going to stuff it under and just avoid it. And eventually it'll go away. But it hasn't, has it? It hasn't gone away. And it's not going to. It's never going to go away until you deal with it. And pain is not something that we should run away from. It's not something that we should look at, oh man, that's bad. I don't want to do that. None of us want to experience pain. You know, I don't want to experience the pain of breaking my leg. I don't want to experience the pain of actually stabbing myself with a knife while I'm loading the dishwasher. Like, that's not fun, right? We don't want to experience that kind of pain. We want to experience a fun, loving, life, abundant, fulfilled existence. But pain is inevitable. Pain is inevitable, and it's going to happen at some point in time because we live in a fallen world, and it's just going to happen. But we shouldn't run from it. It's not something to run from. And here's why. It's actually a gift. And I know you're probably thinking, hold on a second, I'm not a masochist. No, I'm not saying you are. But I am saying that if you accidentally laid your hand on a hot stove and you couldn't feel the pain of the searing heat from the stove, you would walk away with severe damage to your hand. The pain you feel from the hot stove is a gift to tell you, hey, move your hand before it gets hurt. It's the same thing with our emotions. The pain we feel in our emotions is the same thing as a hot stove. It's like, hey, wake up here. There's something here. Pay attention. And it's the only way to move past the ceiling you keep hitting. It's the only way to get free and live an authentic life that you've been looking for, is to pay attention. It's like, hey, no, there's something going on here. I need to investigate. See, emotional pain also signals us when there's something wrong. It's not punishment. Emotional pain is not a sense of punishment. It's actually our protection. It's protection of our mind and our soul. And it's a call to pay attention. Here's what emotional pain reveals. It reveals false beliefs that we have about ourselves. It reveals distorted perceptions of our worth and value. It also reveals a misalignment that we have with truth. It also reveals some harmful thought patterns that we may be having. If I'm having thought patterns of, some days I just want to give up. Some days I wouldn't care if I went to sleep and never woke up. The only reason we feel that or think that is because there's some sort of emotional pain going on down beneath the surface. The way to break free from that is not to run from it or avoid it or pretend it doesn't exist, but to actually investigate what's going on here. What's going on beneath the surface here? What am I actually believing? Why am I feeling this way? Not, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't be this way. It's why am I feeling this way? When we start looking at pain as a catalyst, we're able to acknowledge that we have emotional discomfort, and we're able to begin the journey of not only self-discovery, but confronting lies and distorted beliefs that we have. By doing so, that leads us through to the healing process of identifying root causes of it. Why am I feeling this way? Well, okay, let me give you an example. Say your husband says, comes home from work, you've been taking care of the kids, you've been cleaning the house a little bit, but one of the kids got sick, and so you've had, been preoccupied with that. And then there was dinner to get on the table, and then there's soccer practice, and there's all these things. And then your husband comes home from work, and he's like, what have you been doing all day? Am I the only one? I remember having this conversation years ago. My boys were little, and I was homeschooling, and I was trying to work part-time from home and just doing all the things. And I was cleaning the house and doing laundry, but it wasn't immaculate. And I get asked, what have you been doing all day? What do you do with your day? That stings, does it not? Now, I'm just going to tell you, this is no shade on my husband. He didn't mean anything by it. It was genuinely asking, like, how do you spend your time? But I took it as, you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to be good for anything. No matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. Now, let me ask you, what did you think and feel when it was said to you? What have you been doing all day, Renee? How did you feel? What did you think? Did you feel like, man, I am killing myself to be the best mom, the best wife, the best godly woman that I know how to be, and it's just not ever enough? Now, you can choose to say, well, I shouldn't feel that way, so I'm just going to try to justify myself and say, well, I've been doing this and this and this and this and this and this, and maybe even give him a rundown of your day of like, see, I have performed, I have done, but I have an excuse for why this isn't done and why that isn't done, because Johnny puked all over the carpet and I had to clean that up, and then the dog brought in a dead skunk, and there's just, all this stuff, right? You have all these reasons why things aren't the way they were expected to be. You haven't met this person's expectations. Maybe you haven't met your own expectations. And you have all this emotional pain. And you can choose to be, well, I shouldn't feel that way. I'm going to do better. It's wrong for me to feel this way. And maybe even feel a little guilt because like, okay, well, there was that, 30 minutes that the kids were down for a nap, and I just took 30 minutes to go sit on the toilet and play a game on my phone. And I just vegged out for just a minute. I really should have been more productive today. Instead of playing games on my phone for 30 minutes, I could have been doing this or this or this or this. And so you feel this guilt and shame of like, oh, I could have done better. I'll try to do better next time. So you avoid, and you put more expectations of performance on yourself. When reality is, what's really going on down beneath the surface is that you feel inadequate, you feel like you're not good enough, and you feel like you'll never be good enough. And you feel like that's how your husband feels. You may even feel like that's how you feel about yourself. Because if those feelings and those beliefs weren't there, him saying that wouldn't have caused any pain. If you were completely free and your husband came home and said, what have you been doing all day? Then you would have been like, I've been taking care of this household. What you been doing all day? Maybe not in a smart aleck way, but still your feelings wouldn't have been driven to pain. And maybe your husband was genuinely curious about how you spent your day and not condemning you at all, but that's how it was received. So understanding that pain and emotional pain is not something to shy away from. It's not something to run away from. It's actually a tool to say, hey, there's something going on here. What are you really believing here? Now, I'm going to challenge you too, because if I'm believing I'm not good enough and that I'm never going to be good enough, then what I'm believing goes against God's word. I'm believing a lie, and I'm exalting that lie over what his truth says about me. I'm replacing these false beliefs with his truth. Or, I said that backwards. I'm replacing his truth with these false beliefs. Because his truth says that you are good enough. He said that you were worth dying for, even while you were still a sinner. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us, which means that even in your complete dysfunction, even in your depravity, you were worth his blood. And if you're worth it, even at your worst, then the fact that you didn't get your house immaculately clean certainly does not negate God's truth. But we exalt it above what he says about us. We exalt that lie. And that's how we operate, and we run our lives that way. Everything we do is based off of these false beliefs that we have from ourselves. And it's idolatry. We exalt it above what God's word says. And that's the definition of idolatry. And I know that is a huge challenge for you listening, but it's the truth. Hello, Hello, friend. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Listen, I have a really exciting announcement to make that beginning in November, we're going to be going to 2 episodes a week. So make sure you hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time an episode is uploaded, and I will see you there. I'm not really here to tell you some mantra or let's make daily declarations over ourselves. Because, I've done the whole daily declarations thing. And yes, it is good to speak truth over ourselves. And even if it's a fake it till you make it kind of deal, if I speak it enough over myself, I'll start to believe it. But I have done that and I still didn't believe it. And I still stayed stuck. How many daily mantras are you saying over yourself? Are you getting up every morning and speaking things about yourself that are true, like you're speaking God's truth over you? Or you're making declarations and prophetic declarations over your life and over who you are, over your identity every day, and still feel stuck? How many times have you gotten up in the morning and looked in the mirror and said, I am a conqueror. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then go through the day feeling like a failure. It's not the daily mantras. See, they hit the head, but for some reason, they can't always seem to make it into the heart. They can't seem to make it into the nervous system. They can't seem to recalibrate everything that's going on. We can say it and 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 still not ever believe it. So today I'm going to challenge you with just a couple questions, and I want you to really think about it. Right now, what kind of emotions are you currently experiencing? What do you think they might be trying to tell you? What false beliefs might be causing emotional pain? And how can you respond to your emotions as signals rather than threats? So I want us to start reframing this week. Anytime something comes up where it's like, there's just a lot of emotional pain right now. And it's like, instead of thinking, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should be past this by now. I should have matured past this. Like, why am I still feeling this way? Instead of looking at it like that, I want you to look at it and ask yourself, what is this emotion? What is this feeling actually telling me right now? And start digging beneath the surface to find out what's really going on. Your emotions, your feelings, they're actually proof that you're alive. You want to feel alive? That's a starting point. And I'm not saying, I'm feeling today, so I'm going to just roll around in my feelings and everyone around me has to just accept that I'm feeling feelings today. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, stop telling yourself you shouldn't feel something. It's okay to feel something. Recognize that you feel it, but then start asking your questions of like, okay, why? What's going on? What is it trying to tell me right now? And start digging underneath the surface of it. That is your first step to breakthrough. That's your first step to breaking past that ceiling you keep hitting all the time. It's your first step of recognizing that there's something else going on underneath. I hope this week's episode helped you. And if you have any questions or if you want to talk further, make a comment below. We can totally work through some things. I hope you got value out of today's episode. And if you did, make sure you like, share, subscribe, pass it on to a friend. Make sure to join us for our next episode where we're actually going to start talking about the pain threshold and what's really happening there. You don't want to miss it. See you guys next time.